YouTube! Hey, how's it going? Scarpad from Scarpad's Domain. And tonight we're talking time travel. In fact, it kind of feels like I've traveled in time already. It almost feels like this is all deja vu, like I've done it before. I think I just did. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tonight we're talking about 1995's 12 Monkeys from director Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam, of course, was the fifth member of Monty Python. He was actually the animator, went on to go in the group and become the fifth member and do all the animation for the movies. And he did movies like Baron Munchausen and what else did he do? I just was talking about this a minute ago. Baron Munchausen, he did Adventures of the Fisher King, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Brothers Grimm, a whole bunch of movies. And he was right fit for this movie because this movie had kind of that feel of, was it real? Was it not real? We get Madeline Stowe, we get Bruce Willis, David Morse, Christopher Plummer, and of course Brad Pitt, who was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor for this movie, and with good cause. His eyeballs should have made that Best Supporting Actor. And to talk about all of it, every bit of it, we'll bring in some guests tonight, and we got Link. How's it going, Link? You're muted again, Link. I feel like
I gotta keep the bit going.
I feel like I've done this all before. I don't understand. You were muted.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Also a solid, decent Denzel Washington sci-fi flick.
That's right. We did the show already. I'll admit it. I didn't hit the button again. We went 10 minutes in, and we had a hell of a show that you didn't see. That show was infinitely better than what we're gonna do now. In fact, I don't even think we're gonna do it. Fuck it, I ain't gonna do it. Now, the other show didn't have Dylan.
Key component
from Dylan's Horror Show, and now we do have him. So that was a big difference. So thankfully, Dylan's here. How's it going, Dylan?
I think Dylan was backstage watching us just talk to ourselves, and then once we realized that's when he came in and was like, "What's up, guys?" He was just laughing at us.
This could have been another lost gem, like The Thing that you'll never see.
The one my brother wanted us to do too.
It's a hell of a show. We talked about it for an hour.
Skype had mentioned that too when we thought we were streaming. He's like, "Yeah, Evan, this is one of Evan's favorites, so I thought it would be a good pick." I was like, "Hell yeah." And then we weren't even live, bro.
So anyways, this movie was based on a French short story called Le Jeté, which was it was about a guy going back after the Third World War. Earth is destroyed, and he's trying to save Earth. They expanded it and changed it a little bit. So basically, we get the story of Bruce Willis coming back through time to save the future, getting involved with being put into a mental institution. So that adds another layer to that story where we're not quite sure, is this real, is it not real? Once there, he meets Madeline Stowe, becomes his psychologist. And actually, the first time they fuck up and they send him back to the wrong time. He was supposed to go in 1996, ends up in 1990. And that's why it ends a little bit of credibility for her, when she eventually does figure out that, this is real because of the time element thing. And he talks to and influences, Brad Pitt, who they think is the main institutor of this whole plague that's going to be launched upon the world, but it's not him. But Brad
wasn't it for good reason though? Wasn't he like the son of a virus expert?
Yes, he was the son of the the virus expert, and the doctor. David Morse worked for Christopher Plummer, right? It was his colleague that was spreading it. So that gave it that layer of the story. But I mean, it just does a great job in going back and forth between the set pieces, between the future, which is a hodgepodge of just stuff laying around. I mean, we never get to see too much of the future like Earth as is now. The movie was made for $29 million. It made $168 million, but I think because of the lower salary, and Terry Gilliam, who's very good at set design, he built a believable world out of just everything that could be there. And the whole cast of characters with the doctors added to, is this in his head? Because these guys are a little wacky.
But mad scientist type.
But if you look at other Terry Gilliam movies, the wackiness kind of goes along. He has a lot.
Those have like a fever dream quality to to most of his films.
When they're all tucking him into bed and stuff like that. So I thought that going back and forth was very interesting. You know, I liked how they did it with with this character not really knowing whether he's doing these things or whether he gets convinced.
He's questioning himself.
By the dream. The whole part where he goes back to 1920. Once again, they put him back to 1902 by mistake in the middle of the war. He's butt ass naked there, you know, hanging out, and he gets shot. You know, these guys just fuck up everything. They don't know what they're doing, even though they say they know what they're doing.
Now, how did they call him back? Like, how did they pull him back? Was there's an expiration date on
I don't know. I mean, there's some instances that I think wasn't fleshed out very well, and that they did make a TV show out of this, and the TV show actually was played a little bit straighter, and it went into some of that stuff that you don't see here.
Pyro, yeah, it was a decent. I didn't finish it,
but you just kind of assume that at some point he gets called back.
Right.
They're monitoring him, and he gets called back, and then he's just gone. One of the things I think, beside the direction of this movie, that really plays into it is I love the music of this movie. The music was done by a guy named, not really a household name, called Paul Buckmaster. He's a British cellist. I guess he played for a bunch of rock and roll guys. But I thought his theme and that little theme they had was really good. It fit the movie really well. So that really helped out. But the direction of the movie obviously was done incredibly well with just the whole dreamlike quality of it.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis went on to do a pay of these movies. He was doing The Fifth Element. He did another type movie like this, Looper, which was also done very well. It was a great movie.
I haven't done that one yet.
And it's we'll talk about Bruce Willis in a little bit, but when did you see this in the movies? When's the first time you saw it, and your thoughts on the movie?
Oh no, man! I was like 7 years old when this came out. I don't think this isn't the type of movie like my mom is gonna on her radar or something. My dad's a sports guy. I mean, he probably likes the classics like Die Hard and stuff, but I feel like this would be beyond his reach, too deep. But no, the first time I saw this, I was probably about 19 because I had always heard about it as a kid, and I was really starting to really get into film, and so I tracked this down and watched it for the first time.
To like kind of get you into that shit too.
Like sci-fi and shit.
Serious, what we normally were watching at a young age.
Right. There's layers to this. Yeah. But yeah, this is a good one. I'm glad you told me the budget, because when I was watching this movie, I kind of I was wondering. I was like, man, bro, like that's I would like of course when we think of sci-fi, you want all that futuristic tech, but I admired how they, like I said, they made all this complex technology out of like homemade appliances throughout the movie. Like it seems that's something
like something they would do,
Right? Yeah.
As I said, these societies are broken down completely. Always tend to manage like time travel, like in the Terminator after World War III. Somehow they manage time travel after all that by whipping together a couple spoons, a knife, and
they know how to do it, but the means to do it is complicated. That's it. So they have to really make it count, because they're always on the run and being hunted. But this was an impressive. Are we just going into like general thoughts right now, or? Yeah,
pretty much general thoughts in the movie and so forth.
I really enjoyed this movie. You got Brad Pitt, man. It's hard to emulate. I forget them. I think it's called Awakening or something. It's got like Robert De Niro and Robin Williams in it, where you play like a psychologist. Right, and it's hard to really emulate people with mental illness without insulting them or doing it offensively. And I just kept wondering to myself through this movie, like, how do you get in that mode? Like, 'cause some of his tics in this movie just seem so naturalistic.
His eyeball deserved an award upon itself. The eyeball was crazy, man.
Yeah, bro. I was like, doesn't that strain a muscle or some shit?
Yeah. This is his Simple Jack.
Simple Jack. What was Simple Jack from? That was from
Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You never go full. Once you go You never come back.
Funny,
But
you can't even say the full thing anymore because you get fucking like he's like, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
To, like,
Even though if we don't
just slur the end, I almost forgot.
Never go full year.
Yeah.
But
that he's like Sean left
home empty-handed. Bro, I don't care what no one says. I love Robert Downey Jr. in that role, bro.
Robert Downey Jr. had one of the best interviews with him and Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. They talk about that. They're very like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, funny thing is, he's like, all my black friends love me, say I did fantastic, and he's like, funny
thing is, bro.
Ben Stiller took the butt of the joke on the Simple Jack thing over him doing
over Robert Downey Jr. portray, right? Isn't that weird how people pick and choose what to champion and shit?
Right. Well, it's just, it's satire, and unfortunately, the one of the main big things of satire is the offending satire that's going to offend everybody. And it's just one of the things you can't do anymore, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, Don Rickles made his career because he just picked on one person. He picked on everybody, and it's all offending. But
I want to do Trevor.
Everybody just does. They just don't.
I got to get you too, and we'll have to do like a
Trevor
Thunder show.
Hell yeah!
And then me and Scarpack could like simultaneously stream it or
something. Well, we could do
Tropic
Thunder on the Sunday show because that's a comedy, and that's certainly one that should be done.
It don't matter because I've been trying to expand. I love horror, but I love other.
You love film in general,
too, so it's like that's why I think sometimes me and Scar, I'll be like, let me do that one out simultaneously with you because I love that shit too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He really, Brad Pitt really makes this movie along with Bruce Willis. I mean, it's his performance in it that really helps this film. I can't imagine anybody else really playing that part, just really to perfection, like he did.
Yeah,
he looks like. This is before Fight Club.
Yeah, this was a.
I feel like
the Fight Club was 99
or something.
This was 95.
This was definitely around 7
his hair. The hairstyle. He looks like he's growing into the Fight Club phase. You know what I mean?
Yep. He was because he essentially he was playing like an eccentric person, I'll say, in Fight Club.
I remember him from fucking True Romance when he's playing a fucking deadbeat stoner.
Stoner, bro.
Dumb as fuck too. Hey, dude. He's like. And then the mob comes in. He's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And then they're like, "We need to know who your friends are." Oh, you guys want to take a hit?
Rumor has it Brad Pitt wasn't really doing too much acting for that role. They say.
Really, I believe it. I believe it.
He enjoys his marijuana, bro.
He was fucking getting. I mean, young buck in California. He wasn't getting fried.
My man was. He seems like he'd be like
rep.
Yeah. All right, but no, I went off topic.
I'm not even acting, bro.
That's my secret.
This is just me. High.
Okay, so the future part of this movie took place in 2035, so roughly 11 years from now.
Right.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too because I was like, so if Bruce Willis his character was a little kid in like 1995.
Well, we'll talk. We're gonna have to talk about that because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But no time travel does. But go ahead, Dylan.
No, he was around that age though. He was around that age because say if he was born in the 80s.
Okay, because if he was that in 1995, if he was that old, say he was 8 years old, right? He's watching his own death. He's gonna be sent back. That's fine. That's fine for that to happen. But he's with her. Now if she gets involved. I
mean, but so what do you? Yeah, I guess maybe she was always in the loop, but because he was a child,
she's always good. Yeah, and I guess it works. It works. But time travel is so fucking wonky. You don't want to think about it too much. So that's why.
But I mean, this movie kind of inspired Looper to a degree. I think where this movie kind of was like, this time loops can't be broken. Looper is trying to go the opposite route than be like, even though Looper, I would love to dive into that one because there's shit that doesn't add up. This is
always going to happen. It can't be broken. And another thing I like about the movie too is that the people in the future, they're not looking to stop this from happening. They're just looking
just trying to understand
to try to
why
restore going forward and fix their lives there. They're not stopping it from they don't want to stop it from happening. They just want to like try to get something that's gonna so they can go above the ground and repopulate the earth. That's all they want. So
yeah,
if they know because they don't know where the virus comes from. So if they can get like a source of it, they can maybe make a cure.
These guys couldn't figure out Jack and shit, and Jack just left the building.
They were time traveling though, using toasters and shit, bro.
The wrong they send the wrong place every time. Hey, Two Gun, thanks for coming in here, Evan. Evan's favorite movie. I'm glad he showed up. Yeah, Fable, how's it going, Fable? Thank you for coming. Who else is in the house here? Notastic News. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Many.
Evan says it's weird. The ending is confusing. Honestly, my only complaint about it is the ending. I don't know if it's confusing so much in the fact that it's a loop. It's a downer ending. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they didn't solve nothing. It's going to happen again. The guy got away. But I don't know. The ending, I guess, was okay to me. I don't have a problem with the ending. So what do you think, Dylan? You're
explain. Well, if you want, explain the ending so maybe he can understand it a bit better. Because sometimes I be confused on that shit too, honestly.
There wasn't.
I didn't get the need to have like it zero in on the boy's face as he's just watching the plane fly away. Was it just to say?
Well, yeah. I mean,
there's definitely always some weird shit with that.
He was dead pretty much at that point on the ground, so she just looked at him and smiled because she knew he was the future James Cole.
No, like the very last shot is of like the little boy going into the car after the whole airport shit.
And it's the eyes.
Yeah.
That's artistic shit. I mean, he just realized maybe he realized at that point what he just witnessed, maybe, or just he just that was
he's always connected to that.
That was always
loop
always he had dreams about this thing all his life. He said growing up.
Right.
So he dreamt about that, and that's maybe just a confirmation that he's going to do that. I mean, it's just a loop. Basically, it's going to happen again at some point. The earth is going to get destroyed by the plague. They're going to pick him out at random because he's living underground, and it's going to start all over again. So,
question about the virus though. How was it administered though? Because in the airport, David Morse or whatever opened up the vial and had the dude sniffing his shit, and like
you assumed it got out right there. You assumed that was going to be the beginning of the end for where they were in Philadelphia, wherever they were, beginning of the outbreak, and then he's just flying over the different. They said it was an 8-stop tour or something like that. And it was supposed to be like a book tour or something like that, an 8-stop book tour.
So they never stopped it then?
They never stopped it, no. Mm-mm. Because the movies basically
where he's seeing Brad Pitt in his visions, and then it's really the scientist,
Yeah, he thought he saw Brad Pitt, but it's David Morse. He's confusing.
He looked the same. So
I think once he gets it in his head that they are like, did you see this guy? Because they think the leader of the 12 Monkeys has something to do, but it has nothing to do with them at all,
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't anything they were going to stop. I mean, this was just something that was going to happen. Basically, the movie's conceit was you can't change time. It's happened. But you can affect going forward. That's why they're trying to cure the future, but not stop the past.
Yeah.
And this was going to be a loop ad infinitum. So this was going to be the guy's whole life would be, be this. I mean,
did Bruce Willis tell any of the people in the future about his visions? Did they ever show that?
No, I think I think he had I don't know if he volunteered. They kind of picked him, volunteered someone to go, I guess. Because remember in the beginning, the guy says, "I didn't."
He kept going back. He kept going outside to check things and get samples of in today's world for him. Because then that's how he sees that building, that really big building with the lion on top of it.
Yeah,
and I think
they wanted him to bring back stuff too, but then he's going to bring back a spider, but then he ate it. Yeah, I don't know, and stuff like that.
But I'm thinking what if the scientists knew that's why they weren't worried about the past or any of that shit, because they already were aware that's a loop that you can't correct. You can only going forward, so that you can gather data from the past, but you can't change the past.
Well,
and maybe if he told them about his dream, some psychologist or something, they chose him he was. Maybe certain people had, for whatever reason, had connections to that event during the day like him, and they were
he was just looking for a way out. I think he was trying to find a way to stay there. and they
in the past.
In the past, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was his ultimate goal. That's where he wanted to live. I don't know if they promised that to him. Did they say a couple times that once we're done with it, you can go back there and live or something like that? Knowing full well that I don't think you can.
I don't think so.
But yeah. So your thoughts on the movie?
Question?
Man, I love the film. I always have. It's always been one of my favorites because I felt like people really always talked about The Fifth Element, which I always liked. I always thought was great, but this one was way better to me. I always thought The Fifth Element was a little too flashy in a way, and like
I get that. Yeah,
it's a different type of futuristic movie, though.
Right.
Like it, they're very different in both ways, but I just like the style of this one. Obviously you get Brad Pitt in this, and I think it's great. His love interest is pretty good. She's not the greatest, I wouldn't say, but I like her.
Yeah, Mountain Snow is okay.
Sometimes
she's a little dry. Sometimes,
yeah. Sometimes she's not the greatest. I think like when I first was watching this, like the first 100 times, she never really gave me an issue. But as I've gotten older, she's just gotten a little more annoying at times. But
hey, cut some slack. Her boss is the Riddler, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is she gonna try to Yo, you said it took my bad to interrupt, but to tie into your point about her being annoying is like, how much does he need to convince you? Because didn't you say the photo convinced her? But then when he was in the middle of the woods and she's like drawing the police to him and he disappears into thin air.
Yeah, but he could have just ran away. Or
No.
At that point, no. But yeah, I mean, the bullet definitely did it. She saw that and was convinced. But did you guys notice that her boss was the Riddler in Batman?
Jim Carrey? No, you're talking about
Jim Carrey. God.
Adam West Batman?
Yeah, no, Frank Gorshin, man, was the Riddler in Batman. He was a boss.
I was
the guy that kept on going like this, tapping with his fingers. Crazy dude. The Riddler.
My bad, Dylan.
No.
We got a tangent.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, but I love this movie. Hold on. Yeah, I love the movie though. It's always one I really liked as a kid. Give me 1 second. Like I said, Bruce Willis, fantastic. Brad Pitt is great. I think the whole look of the movie, because since they make the future look really good, even though you only get like him going out into the his side of the future one time. I thought that looked really good and apocalyptic. With the animals all free, and obviously it makes sense why they're running free, since that's the whole thing with Brad Pitt's.
Although there's only one zoo he let out, but
yeah, which that would be the area that he was in. So which New York, I'm guessing, or Philadelphia. Brad Pitt though is great. My brother Evan made a comment, and he's like, "Don't condescend me, man." I love that whole series. For one of the first times he gets brought to the past, and he's in that mental hospital. That's just a great, I love that. I love that bit. You know what I mean? That they get. Yeah. He'll come, then he gets sent back, then he'll come to the past, get sent back, and I love how they got him tied up, and then he's just gone. You know what I mean? They're like, this guy, how did he get out? You know what I mean? That fucking.
And somebody made the point. If we're doing comedies now, Idiocracy is kind of like the comedy version of this movie, so that would be a good one to do at some point.
I love it.
Idiocracy is a great movie, but he falls asleep and wakes up in the future.
I love that.
It's funny how much shit from that movie was preaching, or not preaching, but it's funny how much shit transpired after that movie came out to be some real shit about society.
Yeah. I love the opening of this movie, with the red 12 monkeys kind of swirling in. I never saw the show, but
it's pretty decent.
The show is worth watching.
It's got the dude from the Aaron Stanford Pyro from X-Men movies and He'll Survive, the remake, The
Right.
Dead.
Oh, okay.
Young Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I'll check it out.
they flesh out the whole world better in the show.
Right.
And
I mean, you always got more time to develop with.
It's more grounded. They did do a. I know you guys don't like sex swaps, but they did do a sex swap. The Brad Pitt character is a woman,
Crazy,
but
yeah.
the girl that plays it
character.
does a really good job of playing kind of like a psycho, like Brad Pitt did. So
Right.
it's an interesting take on it. And what Ariega says is interesting because this movie did the texture. Nowadays, this was 1995. Nowadays, like everything you watch has that. It's gray, has no color, very unsaturated. But back then, that was something you didn't see as much. So to have the movie out.
That's why I like Fifth Element is a lot brighter and stuff.
Right, exactly.
I love the whole cinematography with this movie. It's absolutely fantastic. I think this movie should have got put up for some type of Academy because I think this movie is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it won a Golden Globe and it was up for I think a couple other awards. And Brad Pitt for a nomination for Best Supporting Actor for Sci-Fi movie. That's I guess pretty good if you're gonna get that.
Yeah.
I don't know who actually ended up winning, but so anything else, Dylan? Any other thoughts you have about it? Did you see this in the movies, or did you see it after on video?
Dylan, what year were you born?
94.
Oh, so when you were 1 year old, when you were at the thing?
I saw this I saw this. I've rented it.
I'm sorry, guys, I forget that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Scarpants is like, did you see
old I am, man.
No, bro. I was seeing shit like Power Rangers around this time.
I want to go back in time. God damn, bitch! All I can eat is fucking bananas and shit like that now. Like,
all I can eat is bananas.
So,
but yeah, I'll get into some more on it. I just gotta think about a few things, but I think Bruce Willis, man, does fucking great. They were wise and the whole movie keeps me sucked in the whole time. Honestly,
and it was kind of a long movie too, like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it was on the longer side, but it didn't feel long at all.
I like there's kind of genius with the casting of Bruce Willis because he has that role where he plays where when he can handle his shit. Like Bruce Willis is the one man tank, the one man army, so it's like he has a commanding presence. So it's like even in a role like that where he's playing like someone who's might be mentally unstable, he still has like this. He's gonna get through this type of shit. He's gonna get through.
Kicking ass too. He was killed a bunch of people in this. I love that scene. I think maybe my favorite scene in the movie is a scene where he gets the guy in the bathtub there, and the cops come up. And they find him. He goes, "I'm in here. I got stabbed by a crazy dentist." Did you pull the teeth out? Oh, that's what he said there. The teeth is how they track us.
Oh yeah,
so maybe it wasn't the tooth. I guess that's why once he pulled it out, I guess he can't be found.
Because at the airport, that one dude that gave him the gun was like, "Why'd you take out your tooth, man?" or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was.
But that was a funny part. But. I just think the whole thing was done very well. It stands up to some scrutiny. I want to go back and rewatch it again because I'm sure I missed some of the stuff in it.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought Bruce Willis did a great job. And that's why it is sad that ultimately his fate now is now he's got dementia and he's done with acting, which is too bad because and then wonder how much that had to do with his decision, instead of doing more big roles, basically just go in and do all these like direct to video action movie. He pulled a Nick Cage, read a few lines.
Yeah.
He probably couldn't handle having a ton of dialogue. So he went in and shot this and, just did that and got a paycheck. And he can't blame the guy, because obviously he has family to think about.
He's done enough to be, solidify his spot.
Enough. And I was reading about him. He's the only guy that when they were doing Expendables, he was in 2 of the 3 Expendable movies, and Sly Stallone wanted him to be in the third one, and he walked away because he was going to pay him $3 million. He wanted $4 million, and he didn't. And Stallone just said he's not going to quit $3 million, and he did. And anyway, he was pissed off. I guess they made up before a few years back because he walked away from it. And as soon as he walked away from it, he shoved Harrison Ford in the role instead. But hey, when you're Bruce Willis, you can say "fuck you." I want $4 million. If I don't get it, I ain't doing it.
That's true. It. No, yeah.
But
Man's is a legend. Hollywood, not just action, but it's a movie icon.
So, do you have any scenes or any characters from the movie that you think are your favorite? And obviously, I said I think Bruce, that Brad Pitt is probably my favorite, but that's probably gonna be obvious. I think.
It's honestly between Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis. I would probably give Bruce Willis a side. Like I said, they were genius in casting him for that role because he has that presence where this guy's gonna get through this bullshit no matter what. Unfortunately, he didn't, but he did see his mission through to an extent. Yeah, but Brad Pitt with the tics and just like I said earlier, it's kind of hard to emulate people with conditions sometimes without being offensive about it. And I think Brad Pitt really knocked it out the park with that. Some of the
dialogue was great that was coming from Brad Pitt too. I mean, some of the stuff he was given to said, the script was very intelligent and the dialogue was very snappy, very good. Especially Brad Pitt's.
It was very
he was right on the money. The whole scene where he's breaking Bruce Willis out of the mental institution there, and he said, they really got you zonked, and he's trying to get him the key and stuff like that. And he starts throwing everything up in the air. That was done pretty well. But what's your favorite scene in the movie?
Favorite scene. It was one of the first times that brought, not in particular in acting, just camera work wise, imagery. It was when they first brought Bruce Willis back and they're questioning him about some shit. And these two dudes were standing behind him and they both turned at the same time and walked off. But right after that, during that, the camera's it was close up and it pans back in a cool way. I just thought that was really cool camera work. It was simple but cool. Acting wise, emotional wise, I did like the scene at the end where the lady sees Bruce Willis as a child in the airport and they make eye contact, and Bruce Willis as a kid is kind of crying a little, and she kind of has this look on her face because it's kind of dawned on her it's just a tragic tale. He's always doomed to repeat this. Right. He wasn't a bad dude. He was just trying to do what's right. He was raised in a shit environment, and he's just kind of doomed to repeat this terrible life on repeat. And I think that kind of dawns on her, and there was a good moment of realization for her. So she was good right there. I'll give her that much, but it took her too long to realize. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they really pulled off the love story to me either. I mean, I'm not.
I was a little rushed.
It was a little rushed. I really buy into it as much. Not that they didn't have chemistry together, but I just thought that part of the movie wasn't really given enough time to really. I bought the love story between Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. Right. Besides the fact they're banging nasties, and that doesn't happen in this movie.
People do that.
But I kind of bought that whole love affair a little bit more than I bought this one.
Right.
But other than that, I really didn't have any complaints with her.
I mean, maybe you kind of needed that though as a thread throughout the movie, as some sort of hope, because the movie is very nihilistic and dark to an extent. I keep saying to an extent, but it's the relationship. People love love, so it's and love has
Did you say people love love?
Yeah, they have aspirations of. It has hope is imbued in love, so people want to cling on to hope, and so I guess that little love, maybe this relationship will.
Did you just say cling on love?
Cling on to love, but cling on love too. That's probably a little bit more violent, but
it is. Should see it. well
I mean, but maybe that was one of the threads. Like he's got to have a love interest. It's what's he fighting for otherwise? Like, well, maybe to save the human race, but still,
Yeah, I think his love interest was just staying in 1995 and not going back to the wacky 2035. We don't get to see, and we don't get to see really any of the plague stuff happen. None of it.
Yeah.
So
it's just the aftermath.
We don't know. We don't know how bad that actually got. Yeah, he was just crazy. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the movie is one of the better time travel. I might say I like Looper, but I might like this a little bit better than Looper, although it's close.
I'm biased just because Looper was heavily influenced by Cowboy Bebop.
Right.
And yeah, I love Cowboy Bebop, so I'll go
so
with Looper. But
maybe from a just from a directorial standpoint, I might like this movie a little bit better than Looper, although Looper I think is also pretty good. Definitely a good double feature right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Dylan, any final thoughts and favorite characters or scenes? Or not?
I thought I just heard him. I mean, but it's not fair to compare these with each other because this is not trying to be like an action.
Right.
It's a sci-fi time travel, but it's not trying to be an action sci-fi time travel.
It's not a. It's more of a drama than a
right.
An epic, time travel.
Exactly.
And that's really what's I can appreciate by it because it's a quieter film.
It's an more intimate.
Yeah,
usually we're
a little more serious.
Sci-fi films are usually, like you said, epic and bombastic. Like you said, this was more grounded.
Yeah, you didn't give Bruce Willis any funny lines or any bits to do. Really.
No quips, no
quips. He's always a king of quips. So, any final thoughts as far as good scenes or
my favorite scene would definitely be I think I'd mentioned it, the mental institution scene. I just think that's fucking awesome, man. I think it's kind of like who directed this, Terry Gilliam.
Yeah,
I feel like it's almost his little throw in of One Under the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it has those vibes, that's for sure.
Definitely, 100%. But I love the film, man. I think Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis freaking nail this one. And
definitely
Brad Pitt especially, honestly.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis is fucking A1 in it too, but I think this is what was really shining a light on Brad Pitt to show that he's not just like a pretty boy. He can actually act, and he's got range. So he can do it all, man. It's like he can be the big macho tough guy in Troy, he can be a badass motherfucker in Fight Club. He'd be
someone. You ever seen Burn After Reading?
Oh yeah, it's great movie too.
Yeah. He used to be goofy too and shit. Yeah.
Honestly, you hit him with anything. Even Bullet Train, he's like more of like
laid back. Yeah.
Hey man, just like
especially playing off Bruce Willis, he's just sitting there drooling.
Yeah,
and he's got to play off that, do all the crazy shit. He really junked you up, man. He's like sitting there like that.
Yeah. It's a great film without a doubt, though.
All right, well, we go ahead and let's rate this puppy. I'm going to give it a 4.5, 4.5. It checks all the boxes. It's a good time travel sci-fi story. The performances, the music is great. The direction is great. And I think there's a reason it inspired a TV show because the story itself was an interesting story.
There's a lot to chew off the bone,
Right. So there was a lot to be expanded. And the TV show went on and did its own thing, but the movie itself is still an excellent film. As I said, my only little critique is I thought there wasn't a lot there in the love story. I didn't really feel they had a lot there.
I didn't feel it for most of it, but I think it's supposed to be like that. Then I feel like she does kind of start like it's like it's like an emotional trip where she doesn't believe him. She doesn't believe him. It's like impossible to believe, and then she starts believing him, and then she's like, "This guy isn't crazy." So at first you're like, she's just looking at him as like some psycho, like with issues, and then you kind of start to get it, but you really only get it at the very end where you're like, oh, she might be kind of starting to like him a little.
Well, I think she did kind of fall in love with him, but
yeah, exactly.
And then at the end, I think it went back. Once she saw him as a kid, I think it went back to more of a patient relationship at that point.
Right.
So
they have a good relationship together, like kind of trying to solve shit and her helping him. I think, and, you know, when she's like defending him to the cops and about those guys that were trying to, you know, mess with her, and he kills them, and she's like, they were, you know, and she was like, they were trying to hurt me and he protected me, and she's like, cops are like, yeah, I bet. She's like, you're sounding a little crazy yourself, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it was that crazy Law and Order dude there. He's a funny looking guy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah, he was in Happy playing a crazy guy.
Happy, yeah. But what would you rate the movie then, Dylan?
I would probably give it gotta grab the phaser. I would probably give it 4. I think it's either like a 4 or 4.5. I think I'll probably stick at like a 4. I'm debating because to me, like, there's not really any issues with the movie all like that.
No, I feel that. Yeah.
But it's like it's not one I'm gonna watch all the time. Hold on, give me one thing because I wasn't I forgot we were doing the rating just now. Yeah, I'll do it 4.25. 4.25 lasers. I think that's respectable.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's like almost.
Yeah, I mean, I watch all the time. I definitely would go back and watch it.
You know.
I that makes sense though, because I was over here debating that myself, bro.
This is a really nice Aero Steelbook Blu-ray.
You lucky son of a bitch.
And I think they put this out again in 4K, but I'm not sure they made the Steelbook. It's not the
Steelbook, because I wanted to get that.
So there it is. It's got a lot of good features on it as well. So. Link, what do you think?
I'm going to give this one a strong 4. And like Dylan made a good point about it. Like, it's a fine enough film. It's very well made. Everything that set design. I like actually to speak on it real quick. I feel like the whole us not seeing much of the future kind of helps the movie age better because we don't see exactly where we were in the future. So there's no way to pinpoint how technology would look. And it's just like, it's dystopian. So like I said, they're using household appliances, shit they find they know the technology, they just don't have the means to really use it like that. So they're taking whatever they can cobble together. So it makes sense and helps the movie age better, actually. But it is a 4 for me because, like Dylan said, it's not one I'll rewatch a lot. Not that I'm not trying to not just take away from it, but it's like, it's a solid film, but my enjoyment of it's kind of like I said, it's got like a nihilistic tone.
It's better to not watch it, like watch it every few years or something.
Right.
So it's like you lose some shit and then come back and it's like
it's one I definitely want in my library because I do enjoy the movie.
It's definitely one I want in my library because I pre-ordered the 4K and I didn't have the money at the time, so
I will say, like, based on this rewatch, my score of it went up because when I first saw it, I thought it was a solid enough film, but I didn't really I didn't see it in a few years. It's crazy how not seeing something in a few years has changed my opinions on certain films I didn't like or did like and shit.
That's what I love about revisiting movies.
Yeah. It would have been like a 3.5 from a
TV show too, and I want to binge that too at some point.
Yeah.
So.
It probably would have been like a 3.5 for me, but on this rewatch it's a 4. So I enjoyed it more than I did when I was younger.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. Two Gun gave it 4.25. Evan gave it a 4.25, I believe, as well. He likes the Steelbook. Fable gave it a 4.5, same as what I gave it. So I'm going to say with all those scores, we had a few 4.25s, 4.5, a couple 4s. It's going to make a 4.269.
I'll take it.
4.269, even though we didn't get any 69. Not many lasers for you, so.
Blast the whole freaking mag in the air.
That's right.
But
it's like with Looper, I will watch that from beginning to finish, but I'll probably just watch certain scenes more repetitively. But this, when I put on, I'll probably actually watch it from start to finish, like the whole thing.
Yeah, Looper and this movie make a good double feature if you want to watch.
Yeah.
A couple of Bruce Willis time travel movies.
He's the man. Good.
Well, thank Evan for suggesting this one. It was good to watch again.
Great one to start May off with.
Great one to start May off with. Now, next week, hopefully it'll be one that a lot of you guys haven't watched. I did see this movie once, and I did enjoy it, but we will get into it. And that's going to be Vesper next Monday night from 2022. And a very interesting film with a pretty decent cast and independent movie. And I hope you enjoy it. So if you get a chance to watch it, we'll let everybody know where it's streaming and during the week. So keep an eye open for that. It is streaming around. You can certainly get it. So Vespers next Monday night. And then, of course, coming up on Saturday night, Dylan, what do we have for the horror show?
We got May from 2000.
I'm forgetting it's May. It's May. And it's May.
Too.
You think I would fucking remember that?
It came out.
2006.
The movie called May. I think there's only like one May. And that is Verno. That is Verno's pick.
And it's kind of like if I remember correctly, I think I saw it a long time ago. It's kind of like a Carrie type.
Yeah, 2002.
Okay.
It's 2002.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
Okay.
And then join us on Sunday. And then the next Sunday night, on the Sunday show, we're doing the Mini Saints of Newark, the Soprano prequel movie. And back here next Monday night with Vesper. So a pretty good lineup. And I think Robbie's doing
Dread. Are you talking about
tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Very shortly, he's doing Dread, the remake, which was the best one.
A few minutes he should be getting on there.
In a few minutes he should be getting on there. So go over there and watch that show. Other than that, any of you guys have anything else coming up that we should know about?
Just the Saturday.
I'll be here with you guys
for May.
All right.
And then make sure you tune in Saturday to find out what we'll be doing the Saturday after that.
Yeah. I think, did I announce the movie? So I think I did. As I said, next week is Vesper. The week after that, we're doing 1981's Outland with Sean Connery. And then for the end of the month, on 5/22, we're doing James Cameron's Aliens. Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
With an S.
Plural.
And then there's no show the last week because that's Memorial Day.
You said Outland?
Outland, yes. So get out of the house, you fucks. Get some sun. Memorial Day is coming up. But otherwise, be here for the next few Monday nights and give us a view. So we'll catch you guys there. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Link, for coming on. Sorry about the last show. It was a better show than this one, but you guys will never see it. And
it was only 10 minutes worth.
But that's the way.
10 minutes worth of action.
Yeah, that's
the trailer.
That's the way it always. That's the way it always goes. It's always. Maybe if I'll dig it up because I think it's recorded, and I'll put it out as a lost episode. So you'll get to see that, and you'll get to see Link go. Fuck! I don't think we're live.
I saw the schedule. I was like, God damn it, bro.
That's so funny.
We'll see. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. Peace. Stay sharp.